This is a battle in the Exploit Flash tournament where players can pick units belonging to foreign factions. So for example, Sparta has brought two Scythian noblewomen here. The map is Nemetacenna. For Sparta and Demetrios, we have two Scythian noblewomen, a Pericles spear, 6 Spartan hoplites, Spartan pike in the rear, 3 royal Spartans, 2 Helot slingers, 4 Helot javelins. Very peculiar choice. We'll see how it works for him. For Obelix, TGR Obelix, we have 4 Hastati, 4 veteran legionaries, 4 legionary cohort. He decided to bring heavy horse, which I think is a cool choice, just not against Sparta. 2 auxiliary infantry. So if you think about it, Sparta, well, that's the thing. This was unpredictable for the players because the players knew which faction units were picked from, but they didn't know which units were brought. So Sparta could, for example, be bringing lancers, shock cavalry from Scythia, which would be a decent choice against Rome. Not great, but still Obelix probably knew that Demetrios was going to go for the only thing Sparta can go for in the infantry department, and Sparta was one of the most surprising picks for first factions in this tournament because they don't have mid-tier sword units. Basically every single other player went for mid-tier swords, while Demetrios just went, fuck it, I'm going Sparta. I'm going for mid-tier spears, I'm going for a hoplite build. No skirmishers on the field for Obelix, but he has a massive amount of sword units. A total of 12 sword units, 4 of them very good, 2 of them decent enough, 4 of them low tier but useful for blunting charges and flanking. The heavy horse are not going to be as effective against Sparta as they would be against a lot of other factions due to the abundance of spear, high armor and high mass. He also has 2 auxiliary infantry, and why you would bring auxiliary infantry against Sparta, well, I don't know. 2 more Hastati would be a superior choice. So just screening away the Scythian noblewomen here. The Scythian noblewomen have fire at will turned off, which is a good choice by Demetrios. He does not want to waste ammo on auxiliary infantry. He does want to fire at the heavy horse to damage them as much as possible, and he's doing a good job here with the great range of the noblewomen, getting shots off on the heavy horse. In these types of situations, I think it's a very good idea to activate precision shot. Nice job there baiting the missiles from the Hastati with the Scythian noblewomen. And anytime you see a 25-minute game between Sparta and Rome, you know something weird is up. And something weird is probably going to happen here, because looking at the build of Obelix, this build should be able to steamroll the Spartan build really quickly. But the peculiar choice here would be the auxiliary infantry. For the price of 2 auxiliary infantry, he can bring an additional legionary cohort, he can bring 2 Hastati. Superior choices in just about every scenario. And it's not like Sparta could bring unlimited horse archers or unlimited cavalry. They would still be limited to 6 nomad cavalry units, which could still be dangerous, but just not super dangerous against Rome when they don't have abundant horse archer support. Still, this is a strong build from Obelix. It's just that only 4 veteran legionaries. In order to be truly MLG, he would have needed 6 veteran legionaries and 6 Hastati. Heavy horse taking fire from the Scythian noblewomen. The Scythian noblewomen are doing a good job. Firing on the auxiliary infantry, not really needed at this point. Auxiliary infantry can do nothing in melee against enemy troops. 18 melee attack, 25 weapon damage. Horrible stats. Decent enough against cavalry, but I'm tempted to say that Hastati are more useful because of their javelins mainly. So Romans doing a slow, methodical approach towards the Spartan lines. Sparta moving up slightly. No skirmishers to worry about for Sparta. So Sparta could actually kite for quite a bit here. But Helot javelins, I mean, they are a peculiar choice because of their low ammo load, their very low missile damage. More Helot slingers, even Gorgos. Gorgos would be a good choice against Rome, I think. The problem lies in protecting them from cavalry. The Stati come under a swarm of javelins here. Don't take a huge amount of damage, so I quite like what Obelix is doing here, getting some shots off on the Helot javelins. But it looks like the Stati are going to get interrupted here by the Spartan Hoplites. And Spartan Hoplites getting into the rear of Hastati, they're going to wreck Hastati with a great charge bonus of 26. This Hastati is a lost cause, and it looks like instead of accepting the loss, Obelix is going to keep piling units in, which is not a great idea at this point. He really needs his Hastati. This heavy horse is going to go down rather quickly engaged against Spartan Hoplites. These javelins are also going to damage the heavy horse massively. Scythians just being kept out on the flanks by the auxiliary cavalry. So in the opening here, Sparta is getting the better engagements, sending Hastati in when the legionaries are not close enough to support them quickly. And Hastati are not going to do well on the charge against Spartan Hoplites at all. So this is a situation where it would be a lot better to send in the veteran legionaries of the legionary cohort, but just look at how far away the legionary cohort is now. Instead of using his superior numbers to flank, Obelix is engaging everything head on, which at this point is, I mean, he's losing so much heavy horse basically getting no kills. And although the veteran legionaries are going to start racking up the kills against the Spartan Hoplites, he is taking significant fire on the veteran legionaries, and he's not using his numbers well here to go around the Spartan build. He might be overconfident due to the fact that he's up against Sparta with Rome, but the way he's engaging now, this is really good for Sparta and not at all good for Obelix. The veteran legionaries like these types of engagements where they are not charged, where they're slowly able to whittle down their enemy with their high melee attack, getting in a lot of hits. They won't do a lot of damage with each hit, but they're going to get a lot of hits and a lot of kills against the Spartan Hoplites. Like you can see here, 25 kills, 9 kills. Now Obelix is starting to flank, but this is a bit late for that. Looks like the Helot javelins are out of ammunition already. Helot slingers still firing. Scythian noblewomen being annoying, but mostly firing on the auxiliary infantry. They could finish off this heavy horse unit with ease, but that's the problem with fire at will. And again, instead of flanking, Obelix is keeping his units in the center and piling them in as they go. So the second line of Rome is coming in after the Hastati just shattered, and they're going to destroy the Spartan Hoplites. Helot javelins running in to tank a bit of damage for their Hoplite friends. Obelix pulling out his Hastati here, but it's getting shot in the back, so this Hastati might just rout soon. Another veteran legionary rushing into the Royal Spartans. The combat is even there. Royal Spartans are tanky units, not cost effective against mid-tier swords. But this engagement isn't bad for them per se, compared to getting charged by barbarian infantry. They are in phalanx, so they do get a 5 bonus versus infantry, which can enable them to grind it out, but they're getting wrapped around on the sides, which is always going to be bad for a phalanx unit. Legionary cohort sort of getting stopped on the Spartan Hoplites here. The Scythian noblewomen getting destroyed without really doing much. And the flanking just comes a bit too late for Obelix here. Rushing his heavy horse into a pike unit, that might have been a miss micro, because these are Spartan pikes and Spartan Hoplites. Peculiar choice, bringing one pike unit, but we'll see how well it's able to work. These heavy horse, they're losing a lot of men in this engagement. The legionary cohort is going to make it into the flank and wrap around this Spartan hoplite, so it should be able to do a lot of damage. This is the second set of abilities of Rally and Raise Banner that's being used by the Spartan general, so nice use of his abilities there. Legionary cohort getting a lot of kills on these units now. Rome just has so many swords to pour into the mix. This legionary cohort was attacked in the rear for some reason. Oh, because of these Spartan hoplites. They're themselves getting attacked in the rear now, so they're probably just going to rout. Legionary cohort rushing in, using loyalty of the 10th with the Caesar general. Probably to hold these, maybe. I don't really know why he activated it at this point. He doesn't have many units on the verge of breaking. This legionary cohort is losing decisively against the royal Spartans, and when they go into phalanx, it's going to be worse for the legionary cohort. So this legionary cohort is going to lose. Heavy horse rushing into the center, into the royal Spartans. A bit of forest here, so their charge isn't going to be as devastating as it could be. Still, they will do hit point damage to the royal Spartans. Helot javelins and Helot slingers getting destroyed without really doing much. Here the pikes are, well, they should be attacked in the rear at this point. They're still holding out with 111 kills for pikes. That's a very useful pike unit. And Obelix is trying to flank around now, but these royal Spartans, they have tanked one unit. They are ready to tank unit number 2. They're getting a charge, and they will defeat these veteran legionaries on the charge. Veteran legionaries in a very messy formation, getting into the Helot slingers as well. They're tanking hit point damage from the royal Spartans, or for the royal Spartans, I should say. Pericus Bear's terrible unit being attacked in the rear and ganged up on by heavy horse. So Obelix has 3 heavy horse units in the rear of Sparta. Great targets here for breaking up engagements. Going for the royal Spartans is probably a mistake at this point. Killing everything else before the royal Spartans would be a good idea. Breaking up this engagement, breaking up this engagement, and then going for the royal Spartans. Because these heavy horse units, due to not being pulled out, they're going to lose a lot of men, and royal Spartans have expert charge defense, so cycle charging them with cavalry is going to damage the cavalry quite substantially. Which is something a lot of people do. They cycle charge stationary royal Spartans, and not the best target to cycle charge, even in the rear, when there are other targets, because you are going to be losing your heavy horse units. Scythian noblewomen now getting some kills using precision shots into the heavy horse engagement. This engagement is starting to break up, but it could have been broken much earlier with a charge from the heavy horse. And in the center here, these Spartan hoplites, they're actually starting to do quite well against the veteran legionaries because they've dropped down so much. Unit of Astarte being pulled out to attack this Spartan hoplite in the rear, which is a good job, good choice at this point. The heavy horse cycle charging, starting to get kills here. See if the royal Spartans drop significantly. They are losing some men. They're actually losing quite a bit of men. But the heavy horse is also it's dropping so quickly. This is not good for Obelix. Few very depleted legionary units left. They should be able to deal with the hoplites here. But the 2 royal Spartans against the 1 legionary cohort. Legionary cohort is going to disappear. Royal Spartans attacked in the rear again, but losing so many heavy horses Obelix. And the royal Spartans are going to finish off this unit of heavy horse very decisively. So now Obelix is down to a few legionary cohorts. His general is... let's see... is he dead off the field? No, he's just hanging about over here. Not inspiring his men because he's too far away. Obelix has heavy horse left, but it doesn't have a lot of legionaries left now. It's just heavy horse, this legionary cohort, and this legionary cohort. So the Spartan hoplites, 69, 40, 26. They're probably going to be able to defeat the legionary cohort. Scythian noblewomen getting a decent amount of kills, nothing great yet. They could take this legatus in melee if they didn't run away at this point. Now they're going to get attacked in the rear and probably going to lose, but they could do well enough against the depleted legatus in melee. But they are drawing the general away from the main engagement. Auxiliary infantry in a weird formation here against the Royal Spartans. The auxiliary infantry is going to die. Legionary cohort getting attacked. Let's see if they get a rear charge penalty. Nope, but they're losing decisively, so they're going to die. And when that happens, there will only be these auxiliary infantry and the very depleted general of Rome, plus a few heavy horse units and the legionary cohort left. So the Roman units are not doing well here. The Royal Spartans, Royal Spartan generals still alive. Royal Spartans are, in this type of scenario, they are very dangerous units against depleted enemy units. 78 morale. It's going to take a lot to make them rout. And Obelix's heavy horse is tired, exhausted. Very tired legionary cohort, very tired legionary cohort. The auxiliary infantry is going to lose to these Royal Spartans. Legionary cohort shatters. A charge by heavy horse, and the heavy horse is going to start losing men rapidly. Does not like fighting Royal Spartans. These Royal Spartans are attacked in the rear, but they're still steady because they have great morale. The auxiliary infantry is just disappearing against these Royal Spartans. Another charge here by the heavy horse. But is this going to be enough for Obelix at this point? The Royal Spartans are holding out heroically in the center. This is every Spartan fanboy's wet dream, watching Spartan hoplites holding out and killing Romans. Now there's only this auxiliary infantry and only cavalry left on the field for Rome. So we'll just fast forward here because we still have 8 minutes to go. Obelix is probably going to rest his heavy horse soon. Charging in against the Royal Spartans again and losing quite a few heavy horse in the process. His heavy horse is concerned because it's exhausted and because it's lost a lot of men. So at this point, this is a nightmare situation for Rome. Rome has 3 depleted cavalry units against 3 depleted Royal Spartan units. And here we have sort of a Spartan traffic light with green, orange and red. Rear charge is probably going to break this unit. Might break the general's unit. But these 40 Royal Spartans are going to be a problem, even with perfectly coordinated charges from all sides, because here we have 9 heavy horse, 12 heavy horse, and the underwhelming legatus with 10 men in the 10 men remaining in the unit. So yeah, looks like Obelix is going to be resting his units. The Royal Spartans are fresh. Heavy horse is tired, fresh legatus. So when the heavy horse is fresh, Obelix is probably going to go for it. But I don't see it. These units will have a lot of hit point damage on them, and it's probably going to be a GG a few seconds after they charge in. If the Royal Spartans are stationary, expert charge defense might be enough to destroy the heavy horse alone. So Obelix starting to surround a bit here, back to normal speed. This unit is going to, but it's only 10 men left in the unit. This unit is the problem. 46 men remaining. Here comes the charge. We should see them drop almost instantly. Yeah, the heavy horse is just disappearing.
Understood.
Rally, raise banner for the Spartans.
Orders understood.
And Obelix pulling out a bit too late here. He would have needed to cycle charge really rapidly to make this work. Ideally against moving Spartans. So the battle is now decisively in favor of Demetrios. Amazingly enough, it looks like he was able to defeat Rome. And this was a pretty amazing result if you just look at the builds. Realistically, there is no way that this Spartan build should defeat this Roman build with 12 sword units, 4 heavy cavalry units. The cavalry ended up doing a decent enough job. Complete waste with the auxiliary infantry. The stati were wasted significantly. You can see how well the Roman infantry does in a grind out fight. But even frontally against Royal Spartans, all of these Spartan hoplites and the pikes did much better than they have any right to do, mainly because the superior Roman force did not flank. Flanking and surrounding this very small Spartan force would have been instrumental and I think devastating for Obelix against Demetrios. But well done by Demetrios. He was able to pull off quite an amazing feat here, bringing a very peculiar build. He's not getting his money's worth out of his skirmishers, but the Spartan hoplites and the Royal Spartans make up for it. I mean, these Royal Spartans, they have a total of, wow, they have more than, let's see, 760 kills combined, which is quite good. Still wasn't enough. Obelix killed more than Demetrios. Demetrios ended up winning, but in the late game, the morale of the Royal Spartans just meant they held forever, because Demetrios basically has nothing left here, but neither does Obelix, and that made the difference. Strength and honor.